So we're going to go to our PHP Storm or your favorite text editor. If you're using Sublime Text, Atom.io, Notepad++, whatever text editor you're using, go to your favorite one, and we're going to define the tabs component. So let's create a Vue component. So we're going to go down here, enter Vue component, and we're going to go with tabs. Template ID will be template tabs. And now let's actually create the X template. And now, just as a quick note, I am using all of the JS in one file, and that's because I want to simplify this tutorial for you so that you see everything on one page and see that it works flawlessly. But in reality, you do want to actually separate these out into separate JS files. So here I'm just doing this so we can convey the Vue.js concepts more in a basic manner, and the Vue.js concepts are easier to understand when you just see them all together in one page. So that's the only reason I'm creating in one single page. If you want to use it, you put your script tags in your separate files. That's completely up to you, and that's completely fine as well. So I'm going to create a script tag here, and I'm going to make it an X template. So type X template, and this allows you to write HTML in script tags so that you don't have to write long lines of HTML in JavaScript without the coloring syntax, because if you see colorful code, it's much easier to organize and edit. So I'm going to also give this an ID of what we just created of template tabs, and if we go inside here and we go div and let's say hello, and if we go back to our page and refresh, it says hello. And if we open our console log, it should have an error. No, actually it doesn't have an error, and I'll show you exactly why. The reason why we don't have an error, because it should technically register the tab component, and the tab component is not defined, and that's because it's rendering the tabs component as HTML itself, and it's basically saying this. Everything here is deleted and it's just saying hello. That's what it's basically doing. So what we want to do is we want to actually make it register the tab component. So how we do that is we use a slot method. So you're going to say, I'm going to edit this further and say this div is going to be application container. And we're not actually going to use the ID, but I just want to label it with an ID so you get a clear idea of what's being used here. And we do have to wrap everything around with one parent div like this as well. We're going to create two sub divs here, and each component requires one parent div. It can't have two sibling divs lying around. So here I'm going to create one div for the menu item, for the nav bar. So I'm going to go menu navbar container, and down here I'm going to go div let's say tab content container, like this. And then we're going to say tab menu. Let's go navigation menu goes here, and bottom we say tab content goes here. And if we go back to our page, we go refresh, there we have it, and we don't see any errors because both tab and tabs is tab content is defined. Actually, it's not defined. So that's because, once again, we haven't defined what I was about to show you, which is slot. If we go slot, it forces the content inside the tabs component to show, and that should give us an error. So refresh. So everything inside the tabs component is showing, and then we have an unknown element tab. So we have to create the tab component separately now as well. So let's do that in the next lecture.